Welcome to another Tactics Talk, a new season, Sam, a new championship season.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting because, again, last season we mentioned on the Daily Debate the other day that it's going to be very interesting to pick a team now. We've got a new manager, a few new players, out the door as well now. Obviously, we've seen that Hermansen and Ndidi are basically all but done and announced.
I think Ndidi's been announced. I don't know if it's been announced on the official Leicester page. I think he has, hasn't he now?
Ndidi has, obviously. Hermansen has looks like he's going to be gone to West Ham. He's got medical today, so he's another one we probably can't pick. But we'll get into it. Obviously, get your comments and views into who you think should be starting against Sheffield Wednesday in 2 days' time on Sunday. BS Sam, we'll start with you then, mate. In goal, I'm guessing there's only there's two choices.
There is two choices, and you could argue, does it swing either way? I guess the only thing you'd say is Begovic hasn't really played in pre-season yet. I don't think he played against Fiorentina, did he?
No.
So I think for me, it should be Stolisic. I think he deserves a spot anyway now that Hermansen's gone, or virtually gone. So for me, I think Stolisic has earned his place, and I think we've had the debate before, and I think if Hermansen was still around for the Wednesday game, which we assume he's not going to be at this rate. Or who do you pick over Hermansen and Stolisic? Because I think some people say, well, that similar level of qualities, at least from what they've shown. And Stolisic had earned his place last season. We all kind of said, I think it was after the Spurs game, like, we'll keep Stolisic for next week. We didn't. I think a few people were saying, why not keep Stolisic in the team? He was in a winning side. So I think he should be able to do a decent job in the Championship next year. So he's going to be my pick for Wednesday on Sunday.
Stolisic goes in then. And I think you're all right. Again, for me, as much as if Hermansen wasn't going anywhere, I would still have been in the debate of thinking, does Stolisic get the start? Because I think, he's a youth player, he's an academy player, and I do think that maybe he deserves a full season out. And obviously, again, if Hermansen was staying, I would have felt a bit disappointed for Stolisic because I think he deserves to go in a season.
Yeah, I think, or you almost have to look at it, and you could probably tell by certain players, like Stolisic, like he wants to play. He probably wants to be the number one goalie for Leicester because he's not played professional football too much yet. And Hermansen, you could probably tell that he was wanting to leave. He's probably like, I don't want to stick around again in the Championship. I feel like he's probably earned himself a move, and West Ham is a pretty respectable move for him. I know we've talked about the money, haven't we, earlier? And Phil did a video, 18 million, which I don't think is awful. I think we could have potentially pushed for a little bit more. But I think at this point, if a player like Hermansen wants to go, you kind of have to look at it as well. If 18 million is what's on the table and we need the money, a bit like it was for Cody. I know we said about Wrexham being potential competitors, but if they're the only team that wants to pay, a little bit of money for him, then we kind of have to take it. Could have been the same with Hermansen, obviously at a higher level, higher scale of money. But if a player wants to go, generally you have to let them go. Otherwise, you've had it before with Perez and Fofana, haven't we, who don't turn up to training and that. I'm not saying Hermansen would have done that, but he could have, or he could have, not wanted to play if he was picked anyway. So
yeah, he probably wouldn't have been in the mindset as well. Wasn't he? Like I say now, there's been leaks for a few weeks now of him, but now it's basically been all but confirmed that he is going for a medical.
I think quite lucky from our point of view, because I do believe West Ham were interested in another goalkeeper. I think that fell through, so I think they kind of reversed it back and said, well, we'll pick Hermansen again then. So I think we're potentially quite lucky. If obviously these are all just rumours and that, but Fabrizio is somewhat reliable with transfers. So I think it was last week, kind of fell through, and then this week, now that West Ham's other goalkeeper fell through, Hermansen looks like he will be off.
No, I agree. And again, Stolisic for me is probably the first choice. Again, though, I did have a debate that Begovic could have been because the links to QPR stuff with Cifuentes.
He still might be, but I think that'd be very harsh on Stolisic. I think he'll probably start to ask questions about, well, what's my future at Leicester? If you're picking a Begovic who's almost 40, if not, I think it's about 38, 39 now. So I think he's probably going to start questioning the club if he doesn't get picked, and he'll probably want to move if he doesn't become part of the first team.
No, I agree. And again, like I said, the money wise, I think as much as it might be a bit on the cheaper side, I do think that we needed to get money in because Cifuentes wouldn't have been able to buy anyone unless we did sell. So I'm glad he's
Yeah,
gone.
and like I say, 20 million for a keeper. I mean, it's a bit under, and I know obviously there's going to be whatever transfer fees and whatnot. I know it's probably not going to be as much as 18 million on paper. I think at the end of the day, you got to look at it as we needed to get rid of him because A, he wanted to go. B, we needed some kind of money from him, and it'll be a little bit of profit on him, but not much. But it kind of is what it is, really, isn't it? Because not much we can do about it. So let's just hope that we can reinvest it into areas that we need. Because I think, like we've had this debate now for 5 minutes already of this live show. Stolisic probably just as good enough as Hampson in the Championship at least.
Yeah, I completely agree. We'll move into defence and Sam. Obviously, the first one we'll go through as fullbacks. Again, debatable from last season when we had the likes of Thomas coming in when Christensen wasn't playing too great. Ricardo Pereira, as we know of right now, is either injured or doubtful for the game.
So is Christensen.
He is, yeah. So again,
it could be pretty straightforward left back, right back decision for us.
Do you think? Because again, we've got two right backs we could choose from.
Yeah.
And left back, realistically, we could use JJ in that role, but I think as an out and out left back, I think there is only one option. So what are you going to go for?
Well, let's start left back because I think we're both going to be pretty obvious in that one. It's going to have to be Thomas. I think I think he proved himself all right towards the end of last season, as much as anyone could in that kind of team. Anyway, that relegated team, I wouldn't say stood out, but I would say he was doing in some decent performances. And Christensen's out injured again, so Thomas for me, he gets ahead of Christensen now.
Right back.
I mean, you've got a case for a couple potential players. Chowdhury doing inverted right back. Justin just slotting in nicely into the right back spot. You would say Pereira as well, but he's out injured. Koulibaly, not really mentioned him, not really seen him in pre-season. There must be something wrong with him. There's two managers now that don't rate him. But you kind of get what you pay for, He wasn't expensive, so I don't think anyone really thought he's going to come and be the next Marcelo or anything,
I honestly thought Koulibaly would have been that sort of player when we did get relegated to foot. Do you know what? As much as he was cheap, he has got a bit of pace to him from what we did see. I don't think he the 2 games he had a bit more extra time in the game. I don't think he did play that badly. So again, I wouldn't mind seeing him in there. But again, with the names you've mentioned, again, Chowdhury, James Justin, and him, I think right now it's just a pick of who you probably fancy more than who's probably best for the role.
I think if I had to pick someone, I guess it's going to be Justin. I know he's been linked out to other teams, but he's played a lot, games. He played a lot of games last season for us, as much as he was very inconsistent. And a lot of people were saying we needed a new right back. When we did get the new right back in, Justin did turn it up a little bit. A bit like Thomas, became way more consistent. And he wasn't really part of the issue. I mean, obviously the whole defence was an issue last season, but you couldn't really pinpoint Justin on too much in the second half. I guess after Christmas, after we signed Koulibaly, not many people were saying Justin's an issue. But he definitely was in the first half of the season in the Premier League. So I guess in an ideal world, I'd want to play Pereira there, but we're not in an ideal world because he's out injured again. So for me, Justin goes back into the team. For now, anyway, I know he's potentially linked to go to Leeds, Reedy. I know we've heard that. So how much does he want to stick around? Do you play a player like that who doesn't want to potentially be here still?
Well, when he's linked to any club in the Premier League, he probably will have a sort of mind of not wanting to be here in a way. I'll move into mine then. Obviously, I think, like you said, Luke Thomas is the only choice at the moment. I wouldn't say good choice, but he's the only choice I think we can go for. And I honestly do feel that he's not. I think he's a very good Championship player. I just don't know if he's anywhere high level Premier League, and obviously, I think we both agree with that. But right back. So this is where, after seeing that Fiorentina game, I'm going to choose Chowdhury because I think as well as when he was on loan again for Sheffield Wednesday, he was playing in that role. And I think there was a lot of Sheffield United fans who actually was kind of highly rating him as a right back. And that's where his position was before he did turn into more of a CDM / defensive midfielder. So for me, I'm going to choose Chowdhury just because of the link up he did have with Fatu in the Fiorentina game. I think he did very well.
Yeah.
I think the aggression he has in that right back role, which I'm guessing when we do go to maybe a back 3, he will be that third centre back. And I don't think he's done that badly in pre-season. Again, Justin, I don't think we've seen as much as Justin as we've seen Chadri this pre-season. But like you said, because of his links to leaving the club, I think I prefer somebody who we know is probably going to stay. So Chadri for me goes in. We'll move into the two centre back sub slots then, and I'm gonna go first just because you know who I'm probably going to pick.
Maybe.
So my first one is, I think, the only choice as first choice, and that's Okoli in my opinion. As much as again he wasn't the best centre back last season in the Premier League, I think pre-season he's shown that he's probably the best standard we've got in the Premier in the club at the moment, for strength, height, and all that. And then the other spot, I'm gonna go Ben Nelson. I know it's not gonna happen because other players are gonna get in front of him. But I'm going to go for him because he's a youth player, and I think he's got some talent coming into him.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying about Nelson.
I know he's not going to start.
I don't think he will start just because he's, like say, an academy player. They need to bed in a bit more. I think Nelson will get his time. I think he'll get his chance. I'm not so sure that they're going to want to risk it against Wednesday, who are going to be playing a mix of academy players and players who aren't getting paid really. You know, how bothered are they? I've only heard that they're playing because they could apparently, forfeit, wage reductions or, stuff like that. Fines. That's it. They could get fines and they're not getting paid as it is. I think they've kind of been threatened with, well, we still won't pay you if you don't play. So it's quite a mess over there at Sheffield Wednesday. So for me, I think we should go into it with maybe a little bit more structure. And I'm not saying Nelson isn't structured. I'm sure he'll be able to do an okay job. It seemed like he did okay at Oxford from what they said. But for me, I guess he would potentially come into that team a little bit later on into the season, get his chance. Or you do just go from him from the start, which is why I'm a bit indecisive on the second, because I agree with you with Okoli. I think out of everyone at the club, he's probably a consistent one that's passionate enough to be there. When you look at all the other players, and you kind of struggle, well, who do you put into the centre back roles?
Yeah,
because Vestergaard and Thies are both.
That's what I mean. You if you want to pick one of them two, I can see the point in case of it, because again they've shown it last season and the last time in the Championship that they can do it. But I think this is where I'm choosing not to pick one of them two. I want to go for more youth and a bit more optimism than Faye makes a mistake or Vestergaard's too slow.
I'm definitely not picking Faye because for me his attitude problem stinks. And I think he can really bring a whole team's energy down. And so for me, I'm stay well clear from fight. There's a reason nobody signed him really yet, because I think he is probably at best a Championship player anyway. I don't think he looks very good in the Premier League, and he's very quick to blame other people. He was doing it in pre-season really, where he was making mistakes. I think against Cologne in the 3-1 defeat. There were some mistakes he was making, and he was arguing with, I think, Vestergaard and the players around him. It's like, it's your mistake. You're the one that's not around the ball, not there to make the decision. So I saw Vestergaard and Fies, and for me, that as a pairing wasn't good. I'm going to go Nelson as well, really. I can't argue to put.
But this is the only reason.
I also can't argue to put Vestergaard in, because I think both of them are just real.
This is why I'm picking Ben. It's not because obviously I do want to see him. And I think he did a good season for Oxford last season. I think it's just the thoughts and the opinions we've got on the other centre backs. Now as well, Cody's gone.
Yeah,
you've not really got much choice. You've got Okoli, Nelson, and then the other two names, and that's it. So for me, if you're putting your best two in right now, you're not putting Faze in. You're not putting best.
No, the thing is, they might do.
I'm most likely see either Vestergaard or Faze in that team.
Quite possibly, yeah. It wouldn't surprise me. It's not something I'd want to see. I don't think it's something you'd want to see. I don't think many fans are really. I mean, we've got 80-odd people watching now. If you want to put your comments in down below, do let us know who you'd start at centre backs. I think that is probably one of the grey spots. And then Ben obviously saying
Ben agrees.
Nelson and Okoli agrees with us. I mean, if you've got a case for Vestergaard and Fies, I guess the only case you can make is experience. They've played at that level. They did it okay last year.
You know my opinion on Vestergaard. I really enjoyed seeing how he played last time in the Championship, but I just think because of the momentum we want to go into winning games and whatnot, I think a bit of a structure. And like you said about if Ben Nelson comes in, he needs to get games going and a bit of confidence going, because then by the end of the season he could be one of our best players. Like, as much as we don't have too much of an idea on how well he is at the moment, I still think there's a chance that by the end of it he could be one of our players.
Yeah, it could be. It depends on just how much we might want to just get some, big confidence in and play.
David Fallows here says, I think Vestergaard should start on Sunday, even though I do like Nelson. Again, I think it's more either experience or just a bit more of a.
Yeah, I get it. I get it from all sides. I think the only one I wouldn't want to see is Fies in the team personally. Yes. No, but I can understand the argument for Vestergaard. I can a little bit for Fies as well, but that's just my personal agenda against his attitude more so than anything else.
No, I agree. We'll move into the two DM spots then. Again, this formation might not be the exact formation, but I think because of how we've been playing in pre-season, I think it's been as close to this as possible with a few extra moves around and whatnot. But the two CDMs or two centre mids, Sam, who are you picking? I think we've got quite a few big choices, but who's your main two you're going to pick?
Again, we said it in the last week of streams. I know we've brought it up about who is reliable in that defensive mid role, and you probably make the argument for Ndidi, but obviously we've just sold him to Besiktas.
Yeah,
which
says.
Yeah, it's bringing up no welfare now to put in there. So, I don't know. I don't know who. I don't really know who to make a case for. I guess.
Do you want me to go first? So I can.
You can do. I mean, if you.
Because I thought about what I want to do. So Winks is my first. I think. Yes, as much as we saw how badly behaved he was last season. And it's not just him, again, it was Rude as well. But I think on form, he's probably our best midfielder in the club for the championship season. I think, again, he never really puts a foot wrong. And if he does, he just does try to mend that up and whatnot. But for me, Winks goes in.
Just has an attitude problem.
Yes, he does. And I think that might change with Cifuentes. But again, it shouldn't do.
I don't know. This is the third. This is the fourth manager now for Winks. And
well, he loved Enzo.
Yeah, he's got 50%. 50% rate of not liking to liking managers so far. Well, 66, I guess, to not liking, so you don't know what he's going to do in the Cifuentes.
Yeah. I mean, the other sentiment, and you're not going to like it, but I think out of the choices we've got, I'm not picking Skip. I'm sorry, I'm not. People said he had a good game against Fiorentina. I didn't think he did. I think he just reckless stuff all the time. So for me, as much as you're not going to like it, Soumare's going in. And it's only because I don't think we've got other choices. I'm not picking Skip over him. I'm not. Pereira, again, if he fitted into that role, maybe so. I'm not sure. But other than that, I'm trying to think. He dropped his mic.
Sorry if that made a weird noise in your ear.
But like I said, as much I would put Chowdhury in there, but obviously because I would rather see him in the right back role. I don't think we've got any much other option.
I mean, the thing is with the pre-season games is we haven't played any two pairings really consistently. So, I mean, Ben saying needs moral sponges like Winks out the door, which I agree with to some extent. I think it was more so in the Premier League. He definitely had an attitude problem when we weren't winning and stuff wasn't going his way. Seemed to be having quite a big of attitude issues. And then, like you say, who do you really play in those roles? And
Ben does say Braybrook, but again, I'm not, as much as I don't want to put him down, we've not really seen anything.
Again, these things like Braybrook, Alves, Mongo, they're all just academy players, guys. You've got to remember, they haven't proven themselves at all yet. So Braybrook isn't better than Soumare or Winks because he hasn't played yet. So we don't know that. And if you're playing him and he has a stinker of a game in the first game, it's very easily for fans to say, well, let's not play Braybrook again, the academy player who can't even play against Wednesday.
Well, so the one player that I know of I would swap for Soumare is a Mr. Josh Brownhill.
Yeah, I mean...
But right now we haven't got him, so... David Fallows says Winks will keep Bannon quiet. I don't even know if Bannon's still at Sheffield Wednesday.
I think he just signed a new contract.
Again, there's only a few people there left.
Which is...
I'm surprised he's not left.
Feel sorry for him, Bannon. Shouldn't be signing a new contract with that owner. You won't get any of that.
It was a free contract, wasn't it? Must have been, because they couldn't pay for him.
Yeah.
So they're my two. Again, I would swap him if we had another midfielder in the door, but right now, I don't have much choice. Now I said mine. Is there any changes that you think?
I mean, I've not been too attentive to the preseason games. I watched the Fiorentina game, but been hopping around here and there. A couple of the other ones, you know, I had it on in the background in the office the other week. I don't know. Are we confirmed to be playing a 2 defensive mid roles again?
I think
is this what
I'll go
to
to mine
doing?
again, and I think more of the point of I think Winks will kind of more go to central, and then whoever's here will go a bit more higher up and go into the back that 4/5 kind of style.
So,
but again, with no other choice right now. Again, if that was Brownhill, he'd be a brilliant kind of player there. But
I guess I think I'm going to agree to some extent, but I am going to move it around a little bit more to I think the way I would like us to play. So we'll put Sumari in there as defensive mid for now. But for me, I want him as just an out-and-out defensive midfielder. So just put him in the middle and then put Winks alongside. I guess, I'm going to have to play Winks again because, again, we're without anyone coming into the club, they're probably our best options. I'd push him up, but not quite. I think more so, to the left side of El Canoes, who obviously is going to be my attacking mid.
Well, you've already said it now.
Yeah. But again, I think that's pretty obvious, isn't it? You know, who else are you going to pick at this moment in time? As much as I've said, I think El Canoes' end game is not as fancy as what we've seen. I know it looks a little bit messy over there, but I guess Winks would be floating in and around with Sumari. But it's fairly similar to you. I guess I'm just making it less defensive mids, which I guess is probably how we play. We might even play with Sumari up there as well, without really a defensive mid, and just have 2 players pushing up box to box. But that's all just tactical jargon.
No, again, for me, I would probably prefer to be the Sumari, be the one up there, and Winks down here. I get the passing side of things for Winks probably is better to be up there, but because we've seen how well he is in that more of a solo defense role, I think Sumari could be the one where he can keep going up and down. As much as we know he's not the best box to box, I don't know.
My issue with Sumari is he's lazy. He's not. He doesn't really want to be doing the box to box stuff. I think once he does one end of the stretch, he doesn't do the other end. So if he's attacking and we lose the ball, he doesn't want to move back. And you can make the same case for Winks. I think he had the exact same issue last season in the Premier League. Both of them, I've seen it many times in games. Obviously, just go back and watch some of the highlights. You watch those two, they're okay at going up forwards, take the ball, but then they'll lose it probably just after the halfway line, final third. And then that's it. They stop moving. They're not coming back to chase it, and that's where it leaves us exposed with those 2 players. Which is why I would like someone who's going to at least commit to that box-to-box role if they're going to do it, which is what Brownhill. I don't know we've mentioned it. I think that's definitely what he does, is more box-to-box, and definitely.
And when he's on a free as well, I'm surprised. We've not really gone really deep for him. Ben Morgan here says with Alves, Mongo, and etc. We're 3 players from being a very good team. Brownhill, Kone, and another centre back, and we'll be okay. I think if you added Brownhill into this team, a Kone, which again we can't confirm is going to be any decent, but again it can't be worse.
I've not. Is he the Wickham striker?
Yeah.
How many goals did he score?
He scored 18 in his first season in the League One. Again, it's a risk. It's $3 million. I think there's no doubt about it.
I'm not opposed to that. If he's played in the English leagues before, then he'll be wanting to come in. It's a big jump for him, Wickham to Leicester. I think we have a decent striker in RU anyway. I don't think he could commit to 90 minutes at least once a week.
This is where you do need a backup or even a rotation player.
Which is obviously where Alex is saying we shouldn't have sold Cannon. He probably.
I would say that it was very much overhyped in my opinion. I don't think it was.
I think he was okay. He's quite injury prone. I know that he's having issues still at United about being injury prone. Sheffield United is not Man United, obviously. I think we'll probably see it's the more regular. I mean, I'm getting ahead of myself really because I'm already saying of who I've put.
No, it's all good. I'll go for mine then, and I think I'll go for the wingers to start with, and I don't think there's any even debating it in my opinion. People could say Monga, but I think if you put in Monga in, you're going to have to drop someone else, and I don't think that's the case. And I think Monga would be incredibly decent when it comes to bringing him on in the 60th, 70th minute every game or rotation or whoever that is.
Competition, I think, really. For me, Mavrididi, I mean, you can put your players in.
I'm going to put Fataro in because I think he's going to be one of our best players this season.
Fawa too. You guys can't see it because it cuts off here, but I've been watching Reedy trying to spell every time. He's almost missed every single player name wrong.
Fataro and Mavrididi. Again, I think if Mavididi doesn't play the greatest of games, I'd be more than happy to go, right, Mongo, you're starting. And then Mavididi comes in.
Yeah, for me, I think it's always good to, I've said it all last season, that place like Mavididi was playing without competition in that left winger role. So when he, was regularly starting or coming on off the bench, even for like Bobby Reed, who we know that wasn't very good last season, Mavididi was playing pretty poor last year. Again, whether that's the way he's been told to play or just how it was. He was playing without competition, and I always think that when you have players like wingers who we all know that the attacking force are quite temperamental and that they kind of need goals or a push. So for me, if you've got someone like Monga fighting for Mavadidi's spot almost, and as if you're saying, listen, Mavididi, I don't care if you think you're a more senior player and he's 10 years younger than you. If he's better than you on the pitch, he's taking your spot, mate. So
this is where I do feel like in the attacking areas, as much as we haven't got that Vardy striker anymore, the wingers and the backups we've got now in Mongo, or even like I say maybe Katie McAteer at times. Yeah. I know he's not. I don't think he's anywhere near as good as Fatawi, but again,
I think he's still a good option. He's fairly consistent.
We've got backups and we've got switch arounds for when it comes to maybe.
We should have a fairly good team, but on paper, what it's showing you now, obviously, there's some issues that. If you brainwashed all of these players, and just said, right, it's a fresh start, they know how to play football, you've got a very good team, but you can't brainwash them. You can't brainwash people like Winks and Samara to stop being negative on the pitch, or Faiz and Vestergaard as well. And, even Mavididi to that extent, I guess, when he just wants to stop running because it's not working for him. You can't tell those players really to stop playing that way because that's just how they play.
Yeah.
But if we did, we have a good team, but it's for me, a lot of it comes down to the mentality, which is why for me, pick a good team against Wednesday, win 4-5-0, and start getting there. Yeah.
Yeah. David Fallow says could move Mavididi to up front and place Mongo on the wing with AU for the 60th minute. Again, I would say that you kind of when you say that, I think you're trying to fit Mongo in there as much as you can, as in. You're trying to put Mongo in and trying to move it around for him. I think you start with the players who are probably shown the quality in the championship the last time, and then use Mongo as a backup or an impact sub. Or again, like we said, if Mavididi doesn't have the best of games, or even Fatawi if he hasn't got a good game, that's where you've got
decent sub players to come in, but you kind of need those players.
No, I agree.
You kind of need those players to do a job.
And then for me, I'm just going to put El Khanous in because I think you already put yours in.
Yeah.
For me, no doubt about it. Until he leaves or until he gets even rumoured that something's close, he's staying at the club. And for me, he's our only key midfielder.
He's got a big season ahead of him if he stays with us, but he needs to start doing something really, because I know that.
No, I do agree.
There's been a lot of praise for him, and I think he looks okay on the ball. I think he's also very easily took off the ball. I think he can lose the ball very easily. For me, I think the proof's in the pudding. As an attacking midfielder, he needs to do what James Madison did, which is score some fucking great goals and set up some amazing goals, which I've not seen him do yet. To be honest with you, I've not seen him do in the Premier League. I've not seen him do it much in pre-season yet. So for me, if he's going to be in that attacking mid role, he is the creative person that's going to set up the wingers and set up the striker. And if he can't do it, I said it, last season. I know a lot of people think that he looks quite flashy and good, but he's not very good at setting up or scoring goals because he just didn't. And I know the Championship's a different kettle of fish; it's a different league. It should be an easier league for him to do that. But for me, if he's not doing it from the start, I think we could be in a little bit of trouble trying to create those goals again. I think we might be relying a bit too much on Mavididi and Fatawi to, like Fatawi did, create the solo goals and just like, well, I need to do something.
No, I agree.
Rather than getting set up by your creative players. If El Khanous won't set them up or can't set them up, I think we're going to have to be relying on the wingers to, just like Fatawi did against Fiorentina. Just like, well, screw it. I'm going to take them on and just run half the pitch, take on 3 players and cut in and score.
Yeah. David Fallow says, no, I'm not. I'm just trying not to pick that up. Fair enough. I think that's what most people are going to do. We'll go into your wingers then. I'm guessing that you're putting the same in, but there's every chance you could put someone else in.
Definitely deserves a spot. I mean, Mavididi, you could make an argument for why not put Mongo in. Because again, Mavididi is another one who's not really done much in pre-season.
You know what? I want to see if he's on here. Just because he wasn't here last time, was he?
Jimmy. You can't spell still.
He's not in
Don't
it.
even think it's how you spell Jeremy though.
He's not on it. I know that.
Mm.
It's fine.
I think it's Reedy spelling.
There's no one called Mongo on this. All right, well then.
It's definitely a Mong at this table.
Right.
Yeah, so I put Mavididi in still, but I think he's another one like El Canusi who's going to need to start proving they can do something in the Championship. Because I know Mavididi did 2 seasons ago, but in the Premier League he was very quiet, and I guess he kind of needs confidence again. But again, his place is not guaranteed in that team for me, and if he's not really hitting the ground running when we need someone like that too, especially considering at the moment, Reedy, we're going into Wednesday without a really prolific striker, without someone who can score week in, week out. I mean, we don't know if Ayew can. We definitely know Daka can't.
We don't know if this Kone can. There's the same.
Yeah.
Even at times, I got to the point last season, even in the Premier League, when Vardy was up front, I didn't trust him because every time you went in front of goal, there was times where he definitely wasn't going to score it. So right now, it's just at the moment it's a gamble of who gets the goals, and if they do, you probably play more than you probably other players. So we've got one position left, and I think we're both choosing the same player.
I don't know where you're going this year. Your favourite man.
Well, I'm not picking their favourite man. I am picking Ayew, and as much as I gave him very much what's the word? I gave him a lot of criticism last season for how bad he was playing or how defensive he was.
Unfair criticism, I think.
Oh, I wouldn't say unfair. I think in the areas he was, I think he was a bit too defensive.
I think he was told to play that way though. You can see it. You've seen it in pre-season. He knows how to score. Reedy.
Yes, but that was when he's in a more of attacking striker role. But when he was on the wing, he was playing a bit more backwards.
I love players like Ayew who are so versatile that when they get told to play as a defensive player, he can do it, and when he gets told to play as a striker, he can do it.
But we don't know if he was told to do that, or maybe he was. Maybe he was. But
we had
he wouldn't do anything that any of these two would do when it comes to.
Well, Mavididi wasn't doing it anyway. In fact, he was injured. I get that. He was told to play a more defensive style under Cooper, obviously.
Yeah.
Which I think was the right call. I think most teams should, when they come up, trying to defend those kind of games. And
I'm guessing you're picking Ayew.
Yeah, of course I am. I think he's a class player, to be fair with you, for his age and that, and for how much we paid for him. I think he's Mr. Reliable, which is someone we've missed from the team. And I think in pre-season, it just shows you he has been the striker and he can do it. So I think if you bring in a new striker, I wouldn't necessarily say if we got this Kone that it goes over Ayew. I think maybe just they swap him, and if we got a game on a Tuesday night and a Saturday, maybe it's like, okay, well, you play Ayew one time and Kone the other. But like we had to last season in the Championship, we were rotating between the 3 or 4 strikers, and they all did okay. Apart from Vardy, who did end up taking off towards the last 20 games of the season. Cannon, Daka, even Iheanacho, they all got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 goals in between that mix.
No, I agree. Craig here says, I think Vestergaard will play instead of Ben. I think out of our whole team, do you know what? After at the start, when I was saying that like, this could be a very big debate about who starts, we've literally picked every single player the same other than the right back.
Yeah.
It's literally been the same.
Yeah, I think that's a good sign, to be fair. Because last season, really, we was completely balls to the wall. We had no idea who to pick or who was going to play because nobody really deserved the spot. We said throughout from game 1 to game 38, we said, we still don't know who deserves the spot because we were flip-flopping between centre-backs, midfielders, strikers, wingers all the time. But I think going into the season, we've got a fairly strong team. For me, what I would like is probably another midfielder who is more, I guess you'd say, consistent and reliable, like Brownhill. Because I think putting Winks and Samari in there, if something does go wrong, if we can see the goal in the first 5 minutes, which it could happen, those are your 2 players that will probably start to go, oh, I can't be asked again. They'll easily drop in tempo once stuff stops going wrong. Once stuff starts going wrong.
No, I agree. Last comment of the day before we do finish there, David Fallows says, what happens to our strikers if the AFCON nations this year? Daka, Ayew, Fataru could be going. I think that means that a lot of our attackers will be gone.
It just means the African people, the players that are playing for the African.
So right now, that could mean Kone as well.
Yeah, it just means they'd go and play.
It looks like we'd be playing Jake Evans at that point.
Those are the things you have to prepare for, though. We won't be the only ones. I know the Championship is quite They do have quite a lot of African players in the
Mhm.
Championship, obviously trying to break away to the Premier League and whatnot. I think El Khanous, would he not? Is he
Morocco, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's African as well.
Again, we've got a lot of African
nations.
players in our team now when it comes to the attacking side of things. So again, this is where you might see a Monga playing on the left, and then you see Mabadi.
This is where you have to just prepare for those
Yes.
things. You know,
You can't just keep buying African players and then lose the whole team.
No, if you look at our, like I say, our striking force, i.e. Fatu, if those two, which they probably will both be going to the African Cup of Nations, if they do go, when they go, you just have to say, well, is McAteer good enough? Is Daku or Kone, if he comes in, good enough to do it?
Be going to Africa as well.
Zambia. Yeah, he will be.
I'd say our whole attacking line of the Mabadidi and that attacking.
It's just where you have,
they are,
as obviously Rudkin and the club, they have to plan. Well, when they go, can McAteer do it?
Because imagine that happens, and that happens for like 5 to 6 games of the month. I think it's in January. What happens if we play?
Well, it's like the World Cup, isn't it? So
that's what I'm saying.
If Ghana, obviously, where are you? If that's who we play for, if they go all the way to the finals, but then you are talking probably 5-6 week period.
This is what I'm saying, and then you've got 5, 6, even maybe more 6 or 7, 8 games that were without them. So
they can choose not to go, but I know Mavadidi. I know Fatawu missed it last time to win the championship.
He would really want to be there, wouldn't he?
So if he gets picked this time round, I imagine he'll probably be going.
No, I agree.
Is it AFCON?
I think it is.
AFCON every 2 years or every 4 years?
I don't know, but I know it's this year because I know people are mentioning it.
I mean, I assume it's every 2 years then, because they only did it 2 years ago in the championship. When we were in the championship last time.
Yeah, we lost indeed, didn't we?
Yeah, and Fatu didn't go. He didn't want to go.
No, we did choose not to go.
He chose to stay with Leicester.
Yeah. But there you go, guys. Obviously, there's the two teams. Again, we've picked very similar teams other than the right back. I think even Sam would say that maybe there's a case where Chowdhury does go in.
I mean, I guess my biggest thing is, well, JJ has been linked to go out, and people are saying, well, who's captain, and it could be Chowdhury. So Chowdhury could very easily take JJ's spot. I think I'm just picking JJ as more regular right back. But I don't really. I kind of have an issue with Chowdhury being in that team. If you got Winks and Samari as well, because I think that's very defensively minded players that. I don't know if they get in the way of each other if you have 3 defensive mids all in and around. It depends on if you're doing an inverted right back role with Chowdhury.
Because you could see let me go to mine very quick before we do finish that. I'd say Winks could, or Sumari or Winks could go up there, and then you see that 3-5-2 in a way of.
I get it. My kind of issue of that system is where's the wing backs, where's the wingers, because you're relying very heavily on the ball to go through the middle of the park with this system.
No, yeah, I get
if we're defending and we've got obviously Mavadidi and Fatui, I mean, you're talking 7 out of the 11 players in the attack almost, with 2 on the byline.
Well, this is how we played with Enzo's system.
Yes.
And it did work very well, as the fact that we didn't really concede that many from like counters and whatnot.
It did work.
Because I'm guessing when we go defensively, it would be that, and then maybe even an extra defending midfielder there.
Yeah, it did work. For me, I just don't want it to be sloppy because I'm not so sure these players can 100% commit to it.
Yeah,
because as much as people might want to give the praise to Enzo, he did have a very expensive squad to be doing it with. It was like having Man City in the Premier League. You know, their players could do it. So can our players do it this year? Potentially. I'm not saying they couldn't, but I think when you look at that team, I'm not so sure that the passing style necessarily works with just the way that they play. You know, does Thomas really play passing football? Does Nelson? Does Chowdhury? Does Sumari? You know,
I think there's certain attributes that you need to be a bit more aggressive on the ball, though. In the fact of
I mean, I think we
know that Cifuentes' idea is not all about the passing side; it's more about getting forward.
As long as it's assessed, obviously within the team. I think that, again, I hope that they're just allowing some creative freedom, because that was my biggest issue with Enzo Ball. And you can see it in players like McAteer, who their whole senior career has been brought up as playing passing football. It's like just when they get the chance, they are very negative thinking when it's attacking football. So hopefully with the way Cifuentes is looking like we're going to play, it's just, you know, if Stolisic wins the ball quickly, you know, you can just pass it out to Mavadidi and Fatu on the wing, and like Fatu did against Fiorentina. He got the ball nice and quick, did a turn, boom, he scores. It's one of those nice goals that I think it's kind of gone missing in the past couple of seasons of playing. And I think when you got a player like Fatu, and who, if we've all pretty much said he's going to be the best player for us this season, let's get him the ball and give him the space to do what he wants to do then.
No, I agree. Finally, before we go, Sam, score prediction.
I mean, Wednesday are in a really, really weird position as a club. Never wish that on any club, really. It sucks. If that was us, we'd all be there protesting ourselves, as I believe the Wednesday fans are going to go down and protest, as they rightly should. That being said, I still think we're going to stomp them because they've got academy players and the players aren't getting paid to be on that pitch. So I don't think they're really going to be bothered. I think they're just going to be turning up so they don't get fined.
They just literally kick off and they just stand there.
I think it was, it's very much, from what I've read, like I said, it's that they could get fined or they could get docked more wages and not still continue to not be paid if they don't play as well. It's kind of like fighting the system in the wrong way. Because then the owner has the excuse of, well, I'm definitely not paying you now because you're not playing football.
Imagine we lost.
Oh, yeah, well, it's a possibility, really. You said in the other stream, 49 times out of 50, you play a team like this as we would play a Man City or a Arsenal, and you beat them that one time. Again, the academy players might have something to prove. Some of their players might play the absolute socks off because they're like, I want to get out of this club before the window ends, so I'm going to do everything I can to put myself in the shop window. You never know. I imagine they're just going to go and go, well, we've not been paid for 3 months. Who cares? So I'm going to say 3-0. I think fairly comfortable start. I don't think we're going to go all out, continuous attack. I don't think we'll do that if we are 2 or 3-0 up. I think we'll maybe just ease into it and then make some subs, bring on some of the players that, again, shop window or fringes, those kind of players.
No, I agree. I'm going to go 6-0 still. Just because I've said it 3 times now on each show, and I think there's every chance that, like you said, there's a chance they beat us, but there's a chance that they could really be absolutely woeful. Again, just no link-up play, no nothing from them. So
you never know. Usually you go into these teams and you can kind of assess. I think Wednesday's probably the bogey team, of at least right now. And you could never.
If anyone loses, in a way, you'd say, as much as they can beat some teams, you'd say they're a team that you just can't lose to.
You shouldn't. Again, we talked about the first 4 games coming up, and obviously it's Wednesday this weekend, followed by Preston, Birmingham, and then
it's Charlton, then Birmingham. Yeah,
Charlton, then Birmingham. So the first 3 games, you're probably looking at 3 wins, and then Birmingham again. They're one of those teams where you never know. You see how their first 3 games go; they could be stomping the league as well. So for me, we should really be out the first 4 games. We should get at least 3 wins and a draw. And I'd like to see us beat Birmingham if we are in contention to go back up again, especially in an automatic spot. I think, again, Birmingham will be one of those teams which are top 6 contenders this year.
No, I agree. Well, there you go, guys. Again, one last look at the teams before we finish. Basically the same other than Chowdhury or JJ. But thank you for all coming in, getting your comments and whatnot. Make sure to check out the show on Sunday. It'll be me talking about the Sheffield Wednesday game, previewing the game, and then you've got Phil next week. On Monday for the post match, and there will be a live from the car after the game to talk about the game as well. We all with me, Sam, and Phil talking about that. So get your views and comments on that, and we'll catch you all on the next show. So see you in a bit, guys.